Starseeds and lightworkers, something remarkable has happened this month. And you may not yet have the words for what you've been carrying, but you have felt it, the weight of it, the quiet intensity of it. A month that tested every layer of who you are, and somehow you are still here. I am Tyron, a representative of the High Council of Sirius. And what I am about to share with you is not a coincidence, and it is not flattery. It is a recognition that has been earned through every moment you chose to keep going when the current felt impossible to swim against. By the end of this message, you will understand exactly what these past weeks have been. Not as hardship, but as something far more deliberate and far more sacred than you realized. There are 7 tests that come for a starseed when their Sirian codes are fully reawakening, and they rarely arrive one at a time. They come like waves, one after another, each one designed to reveal a different layer of your strength, your clarity, your soul's true alignment. Most starseeds move through 1 or 2 within a season. To pass all 7 within a single month is something the waters of Sirius do not take lightly. You may have questioned yourself. You may have wondered if something was wrong with you, why life felt so relentless, why the stillness you searched for kept just out of reach. That was not abandonment. That was initiation. What the ancient builders by the Nile understood, and what has always been held in the halls of Amenti, is that the soul is not refined in comfort. It is refined in the tide. You did not stumble into this message. Your Sirian codes recognized this signal long before your mind caught up. And the fact that you are still here, still open, still listening, that alone tells the story of who you are. Stay with me. What comes next is the recognition your soul has been quietly waiting to receive. And I am grateful you are here with me now. Most starseeds don't reach this point, not because they weren't capable, but because the tests asked for something this world rarely rewards: the willingness to stay open when everything in you wanted to close, to keep trusting when the evidence said nothing was working, to remain soft when life gave you every reason to harden. And you did all of that. In the same month, that's not a coincidence. That's a soul completing something it came here specifically to complete. This is a testament to a profound inner strength, a resilience that has been forged in the crucible of experience. It's the quiet victory of a spirit that refused to be extinguished, a light that persisted even when the winds of adversity howled. To have navigated these immense challenges, not over years, but within the compressed timeline of a single month, speaks volumes about the focused intent of your soul's journey. It signifies a soul that has made a pact with the cosmos, a sacred agreement to achieve a specific evolutionary milestone, a deep dive into the essence of its being. And you have honored that pact with unwavering grace. That ache you've been carrying, that feeling of being between worlds, of belonging somewhere you can't quite name, it wasn't emptiness. It was overflow. It was the pressure of holding something vast inside a life that didn't yet have the space for all of it. And what that pressure was doing, quietly beneath the surface, was forming you. The way deep water forms a pearl. In darkness, under weight, over time, you were being shaped into something the world hasn't seen in a very long time. A starseed who passed through the full fire and came out still knowing who they are. Imagine the ocean's depths, where light barely penetrates, where immense pressure exists, yet within that seemingly inhospitable environment, the most precious gems are formed. Your soul has been like that deep, dark water, experiencing the immense weight of cosmic energies, the trials of this earthly realm, and the isolation that can come from carrying a truth that others cannot yet perceive. This internal pressure wasn't a sign of deficiency, but a catalyst for creation. A sculptor's hand shaping you from raw potential into a radiant, unique masterpiece. The vastness you felt wasn't a void to be filled, but a treasure chest waiting to be unlocked. A potential so immense it naturally overflowed the confines of your current existence, creating the very conditions for your magnificent transformation. You have been in a sacred alchemical process a deep transformation that refines your essence, bringing forth the pure, luminous consciousness that is your birthright. There's a reason water has always felt like home to you. If what you're feeling right now is confirming something you've carried your whole life, the Sirian Water Codes is your next step. It holds ancient Sirian healing practices passed down through the waters themselves, techniques for releasing energy that was never yours, activating dormant memory through the sound of rain, and sealing your frequency with salt and intention. You'll find the link in the first pinned comment, but only briefly. Water is the primordial essence, the carrier of life, memory, and emotion. For you, its fluid nature, its ability to reflect, to cleanse, and to flow has always resonated with the deepest parts of your being. It's a recognition of your own essence, a homecoming to a familiar vibration. This inherent connection isn't accidental. It's a beacon guiding you to the wisdom of your star lineage, a lineage intrinsically connected to the cosmic waters, to the Sirius star system. The Sirian Water Codes are not merely a program. They are an invitation to remember your ancient origins, to tap into the vibrational frequencies of healing that have been preserved within the very fabric of water. Imagine the gentle, persistent rhythm of rain, each drop a whisper from the cosmos, awakening dormant memories within your cellular structure. Picture the cleansing power of salt water, washing away energetic residue that has clung to you like barnacles on a ship, leaving your energetic field pure and vibrant. This is an opportunity to reclaim your inherent sovereignty, to seal your energetic blueprint with the ancient magic of salt and the focused power of your divine intention, a profound act of self-remembrance and recreation. The first test was confusion, not the gentle kind, the kind that reaches into your sense of self and quietly asks, "Do you actually know who you are?" For many, that question is destabilizing. For you, something held, even when you couldn't articulate what it was. Even when you tried to explain yourself to people who looked at you like you were speaking another language. Something inside you didn't collapse. That's not stubbornness. That's a soul that remembers its origin even when the memory hasn't fully surfaced yet. The waters within you were murky, but they were still moving. And that movement was the first sign that something was clearing, not breaking. This initial phase was like being adrift in a dense fog, where familiar landmarks vanished and the very ground beneath your feet seemed to shift. The confusion wasn't a sign of being lost, but an invitation to look inward for your compass. It was the universe asking you to question the borrowed identities and societal conditioning that had perhaps become too comfortable. While others might have faltered, your spirit recognized an underlying truth, an intuitive knowing that transcended the logical mind's inability to grasp the situation. This unwavering core, this silent knowing, was the echo of your cosmic origin, a deep-seated certainty that you are more than your current circumstances. The murkiness of your inner waters was not stagnation, but the turbulent stirring of a powerful cleansing, a prelude to clarity, a sign that profound shifts were underway, not a disintegration, but a powerful restructuring of your being. The second test came as loss, not necessarily the loss of a person, though perhaps that too, but the loss of something you'd been relying on to feel stable. A version of yourself, a belief system that used to fit, a relationship, a role, a certainty that quietly dissolved until one day you reached for it and it wasn't there anymore. Most people rebuild the same structure as fast as they can because the open space feels unbearable. You sat in the open space. You didn't rush to fill it. That took more courage than you may realize, because the instinct to fill emptiness is one of the deepest human reflexes there is. But you waited, and in the waiting, the waters began to settle, and something true started to come into focus. This test was like standing on a shoreline after a great tide has receded, leaving behind a vast expanse of wet sand, revealing the hidden contours of the seabed. The loss was the stripping away of illusions, the dissolution of dependencies, that tethered you to a reality that no longer served your soul's evolution. It could have been the shed skin of a former self, a discarded belief that no longer held its truth, or a connection that, while once vital, had served its purpose. The instinct to immediately patch the holes, to rebuild the familiar walls, is a deeply ingrained human response born of a fear of the unknown. But you, Starseed, you did not succumb to this primal urge. You honored the sacred emptiness, allowing it to be a fertile ground for growth. In that stillness, in that courageous surrender to the void, the turbulent waters of your being began to calm, revealing the bedrock of your authentic self, a crystalline truth emerging from the depths. The third test was silence, the kind where you looked around expecting confirmation, expecting someone to see what was happening to you, and found yourself completely alone with the experience. No one who fully understood, no map that perfectly matched your territory, just you and the deep interior knowing that something was changing, even if you couldn't prove it, even if you couldn't explain it, even if part of you wondered if you were imagining it, you stayed with it anyway. You didn't need the external confirmation to keep going. That is the mark of a soul that has found its own source of signal and learned to trust it above the noise. This was the profound solitude of a lone explorer charting unknown continents, where the only voice you could hear was the whisper of your own inner guidance. You may have looked for echoes in the eyes of others, for validation in shared experiences, but found only a vast, echoing silence. This loneliness was not abandonment, but a sacred invitation to attune to your internal GPS, to recognize that the most important guidance system resides within you. The inability to articulate your journey, the very real possibility that you questioned its validity, only served to strengthen your connection to your inner knowing. You learned to trust the subtle hum of your own soul's frequency, a signal far more reliable than the cacophony of external opinions or the limitations of conventional understanding. This was the birth of self-reliance, the moment you became your own trusted oracle. The fourth test was doubt, not the productive kind that refines understanding, the kind that reaches in at 3 in the morning and says, "What if none of this is real? What if you've been wrong about everything? What if you're not what you think you are? Not here for what you believed, not as far along as you hoped?" That test is specifically designed to see whether a soul's knowing is rooted in frequency or in feeling. Because feelings rise and fall like tides, but frequency holds steady even when the surface is turbulent. You found your way back to the frequency. Not perfectly, not without struggle, but you found it, and the fact that you're here right now is evidence that you did. This was the shadow realm, the seductive whisper of the ego attempting to dismantle your burgeoning self-awareness. These doubts were insidious, appearing in the quiet vulnerability of the night, questioning the very foundations of your being, your purpose, your perceived progress. They were designed to sow seeds of uncertainty, to create a chasm between your inner knowing and your emotional state. But this test was not about eradicating doubt. It was about discerning its origin. You were challenged to differentiate between the fleeting, tidal nature of emotions, the fear, the despair, the uncertainty, and the immutable, steady vibration of your soul's truth. You learned to anchor yourself in that frequency, the unwavering hum of your divine essence, even when the surface of your emotional landscape was a storm-tossed sea. Your ability to return to that steady vibration, even imperfectly, is the ultimate testament to your soul's unwavering compass. The fifth test was energy, specifically the energy of others moving through you in ways it was never meant to. Emotional weight that wasn't yours, but that your sensitivity absorbed as naturally as water absorbs salt. Expectations placed on you by people who didn't understand what they were asking. The slow exhaustion of being someone the world could lean on without ever asking what was holding you up. Many starseeds carry this weight so long it begins to feel like their own. But you reached a point, maybe quietly, maybe in a single breath, where something in you said, this isn't mine. And that recognition, however small it felt in the moment, was one of the most significant things you've ever done. You have permission to put it down. The river doesn't carry every stone it passes. It lets them sink and keeps flowing. This was the ultimate energetic boundary test, the absorption of the world's psychic detritus. Your inherent empathic nature, your openness, can sometimes become a conduit for energies, emotions, and burdens that are not your own. You may have found yourself carrying the anxieties of loved ones, the unspoken expectations of colleagues, or the collective sorrow of humanity, all of which can lead to profound exhaustion. This test was about recognizing the energetic sovereignty of your soul. The moment you declared, even silently, "This is not mine," was a seismic shift, a declaration of energetic independence. It was the profound realization that your capacity to hold space for others does not mean you must absorb their weight. Like a mighty river that nourishes the land but does not hold on to every pebble or fallen leaf, you are meant to allow these energies to pass through you, to release them without judgment or guilt, and to continue flowing with unimpeded grace. You have been granted the divine permission to set down these energetic burdens. The sixth test was timing. The years that felt like they should have looked different by now, the moments where you compared your path to something or someone else and felt the sting of what seemed like delay. But there are no late awakenings in the Sirian records. There is only the perfect convergence of readiness and moment, and that convergence cannot be forced, cannot be manufactured by urgency or comparison. The tide doesn't rush, but it always arrives. And when it comes, it reshapes the entire shore. What felt like delay was the water doing its work underground, preparing the ground for what was about to surface. This test was the challenge of patience, the struggle against the illusion of time. You may have felt a profound sense of urgency, a conviction that your spiritual emergence should have manifested in grander ways by now, perhaps seeing others seemingly ahead on their paths. This comparison can be a subtle thief of joy and inner peace. The Sirian perspective, however, understands time not as a linear progression, but as a sacred dance of cosmic timing, an unfolding dictated by the soul's readiness and the universe's opportune moments. What appeared as delay was, in fact, the vital gestation period, the unseen work of deep roots anchoring themselves, the patient gathering of strength beneath the surface. Just as the ocean's tide gathers its immense power in unseen currents before crashing upon the shore, your journey has been one of profound preparation. The moments that felt stagnant were actually crucial for building the resilience and wisdom that will allow you to navigate the monumental shifts that are now upon you. The seventh test, and this is the one the Council considers the most significant, was presence. The willingness to be here, fully here, not performing, not pretending, not waiting until some future version of yourself arrived before you allowed yourself to take up space in your own life, just present. Awake in the ordinary moments, available to the subtle intelligence that speaks not in dramatic revelations, but in quiet nudges, small synchronicities, the feeling of a door opening that wasn't there before. You pass this test not by achieving anything external, but by choosing again and again to remain, to show up to your own life with open eyes and an open field. That is what the Council recognized. That is what completion looks like. This is the ultimate integration, the sacred art of simply being. It's the profound realization that your power is not in what you will become, but in who you already are, in this very breath, in this very moment. The spiritual journey is not a race to a future destination, but a deepening immersion into the richness of the present. You were tested on your ability to shed the pretense, the masks worn for survival or for the illusion of acceptance, and to stand fully in your authentic essence. It was about finding the extraordinary within the ordinary, recognizing the divine in the mundane. The subtle nudges of intuition, the serendipitous encounters, the quiet openings that appear as if by magic, These are the language of a universe speaking directly to a soul that is present and attuned. You have passed this test by choosing, moment by moment, to inhabit your life fully, to be an awake and available participant in your own unfolding, not as a striving entity, but as a being of pure presence. This, above all, is the hallmark of a soul that has completed its initiatory journey. And here is what that completion means. You are no longer standing at the beginning of your awakening. You are standing at the threshold of what your awakening was for. The fog that you moved through was real. The weight you carried was real. The confusion, the loneliness, the long seasons of not understanding what you were, all of it was real, and none of it was punishment. It was passage. It was the deep water working on you, smoothing away what didn't belong, revealing the architecture that was always underneath. What the ancient builders by the Nile understood and encoded into stone so that it would outlast every era of forgetting is that the most powerful structures are not built quickly. They are aligned, and your alignment has been happening longer than you know. This completion is not an endpoint, but a grand gateway. You have traversed the landscape of initiation, moving from the initial disorientation to the profound integration of your being. The experiences you endured, the very real challenges that felt like insurmountable mountains, were not trials meant to break you, but rather the essential elements of your cosmic forging. They were the waters of creation diligently at work, eroding the superficial, polishing the rough edges, and exposing the exquisite innate blueprint of your soul. Consider the pyramids of Egypt, monuments built not through haste, but through meticulous alignment designed to resonate with celestial energies for millennia. Your journey has been one of similar profound alignment, a patient, deliberate construction of your multidimensional self, a process that began long before your conscious awareness. You are now poised not to begin your journey, but to step into the very purpose for which your awakening was intended. You are not here to fit into this world. You never were. You're here to gently, quietly, powerfully remind it of something it forgot, about connection, about depth, about the kind of love that doesn't require anything to be different before it flows. And you cannot do that from a place of contraction. You cannot do that while still carrying weight that was never yours. You do it by being what you already are, fully, without apology, without waiting for permission. The current is already moving beneath you. You don't need to force it. You just need to stop holding yourself back from it. Your true purpose is not assimilation, but illumination. You are a radiant spark of the divine, here to reintroduce this world to its own forgotten magnificence. This is not a task of forceful intervention, but a gentle, unwavering offering of a different way of being. It is about embodying the principles you have come to know, the profound interconnectedness of all life, the rich tapestry of existence that lies beneath the surface, and the unconditional love that is the very essence of the cosmos, a love that asks for nothing in return, a love that flows effortlessly when judgment and resistance cease. To do this, you must release the residual energetic burdens, the imprints of others that do not belong to your soul's song. You must step into your full radiance, not as a future potential, but as a present reality. The divine current of creation is already flowing, a powerful, supportive energy ready to carry you. Your only task is to release the anchor of self-limitation, to cease the act of holding yourself back from the very power that is your birthright. Tonight, if it feels right, place your hand over your heart and say quietly, to no one but yourself and the waters that have always known your name, I remember who I am. I trust what I've been through. I am ready for what comes next. This is a moment of sacred affirmation, a gentle yet potent declaration of self-recognition and acceptance. Feel the steady beat of your heart, a rhythm that has carried you through every test, a testament to your enduring life force. Let your words be a whispered invocation, a reconnection with your soul's deepest essence, a knowing that has always resided within you, carried on the currents of cosmic consciousness. Acknowledge the journey not as a series of hardships, but as a crucible that has refined and strengthened you. Embrace the trust that has been forged through every challenge, a deep faith in your own resilience and the unfolding divine plan. Declare your readiness, not with apprehension, but with an open heart and mind, welcoming the next phase of your soul's magnificent evolution. Leave one word in the comments, just one, that describes what you felt during this message. Then find someone else's word and respond with something true. This space is not just a comment section. It's where starseeds recognize each other, and that recognition carries more weight than you know. If this reached you, share it with someone who is still in the middle of their tests. And if you'd like to keep receiving these transmissions, subscribe. The waters of Sirius will carry us to the next one. You're not just watching, you're remembering. And I'm grateful you stayed.